Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be doing a holiday inspired makeup tutorial. I'm going to be doing a full look for Christmas. I have my holiday nails. I'm absolutely obsessed. Got some candy canes, some snowflakes, lots of red, the red like maroon sweater dress. We are in full holiday theme. I'm going to also be doing a simple, everyday, quick Christmas look coming up. It might be this Saturday or next Saturday for Fab and 5, depending on how fast I can get it done. So if you're interested in something a little bit more feasible, then you can stay tuned for that. I encourage you guys to hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss my upcoming videos. But without further ado, let's get into today's look. So I'm actually gonna be going off the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette because I've mentioned this before on my channel. I just go to this palette very frequently for like my bright colors, for like my more out there looks, and it has some really beautiful reds in this palette. And I also didn't want to use the same palette as I did last year, so we want to mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to go in with that. First, let's do our brows real quick. I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills. Okay, so we have brows now, thank goodness. And now let's go ahead with some eye primer. I'm going to be using my Rare Beauty. Love this one. And I just like to use my finger to pat it in. And then I usually go over with my sponge to make sure I don't have any like excess buildup of product, and also to make sure it's nice and smooth. Okay, so now let's go into the Jaclyn palette. I'm first gonna set down this eye primer with a little bit of the shade Certified, which is a nice like whitish cream shade. I'm just gonna use like a larger fluffy brush. This is an IT Cosmetics 200. And I'm just pressing that on to lay down a good base and set down the primer so that all the shades will blend out evenly. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with the shade Heart On, which is a nice bright red. And we're gonna just start to build that up in the crease. I'm gonna be using my Morphe R38, I think. Basically, it's like a fluffier brush, but it is quite tapered, so it's not going to like blend things all over. It's a little bit more of a precise blending brush. So now that we've got a little fun on our eyes, I am gonna go ahead and blend that out just a little bit with the shade Perfectionist. It's kind of a neutral, soft brown, and we're just using a tiny bit. And I actually might mix it with Certified to make it even lighter, just to give those edges a little bit of a more blended, seamless effect. I'm gonna be using my Morphe M441. It's a little bit fluffier, so you only wanna apply a little bit, and then I'm gonna mix a tiny bit of that cream shade, tap off the excess, and just go around the edges in small circular motions. Again, remember, if you're doing your eyes first like me, you don't have to worry as much about the edges because we can clean everything up afterwards. Now let's go in with the shade Livin' My Best Life, which is a little bit of a darker red, and we're going to darken up the outer crease and just give it a little bit more depth. I'm going to use the Morphe E28, which is a little bit of a smaller tapered blending brush. I'm going to take a smaller like flat brush, and I'm going to just use that to bring this shade into the inner corner. So we're going to create a little bit of like a halo eye moment. I don't want it to be like intense, so I'm just applying a little bit, and that's why I'm going in with a precise brush. So I'm pulling it into the inner corner and then up and connecting it to where I applied it in the crease. Then you can kind of pull it in to blend it a bit. I'm now just blending that red into the previous red, which is small circular motions. I've added nothing to the brush. This is just the brush I used for the first red, so it's gonna have a little bit of that excess product. I'm gonna blend a little bit towards the inner corner, but I'm gonna leave it a little more crisp there so that we're not blending it too far into that inner corner. We're gonna deepen things up just a little bit more. We're actually gonna go in with a black. Now that might sound a little bit scary to you guys, but just bear with me here. I'm going to take this flat brush again, just kind of wipe off the excess because we already got red on there. I'm gonna take the black from this palette and I'm gonna just press this on the outer lid. And I'm gonna just take the Morphe E28 with a little bit of that darker red and just buff that edge there. So let's add a little bit of fun and glitter. So this has been one of my favorite glitters, specifically this shade, which is gold. It's my go-to gold glitter. Now I do love my Tati Beauty glitters, but unfortunately Tati Beauty has closed its business. The palette is no longer sold. Plus I just find that this specific shade here is a little bit more Christmassy and festive. So we're gonna go with this one, and that is the MAC Loose Glitter, which is in the shade Gold. Now I know a lot of people don't love loose glitter, so if you have a glitter or even a metallic, if you don't want glitter in a palette or whatever, or a single, pressed glitter, blah, blah, blah. If you prefer that, then obviously do what works best for you. But I just love this effect. The only thing is you will need a setting spray or a glitter glue. I actually go ahead with these. I find you don't even need glitter glue. I just use setting spray and then I just press it onto the eye. So basically what I like to do is wet my brush first with some setting spray, dip my brush in there. It's a messier way to apply glitter because it's loose, but you will see in a second why I love it so much. What I also like to do is once you've picked it up with your wet brush, you can spray it again to further assist adhering and see how much better it applies once you've sprayed it. Now, this is another reason why I did my eyes first, because loose glitters, the fallout is unreal. Especially I'm literally just dunking my brush in. I mean, another way you can do it, pour a little bit in the lid, then you are able to like just pat it on the brush instead of getting it literally all over the brush. And I'm gonna apply this to the center of the eyelid. Now, once I have it applied to the center, I'm gonna take my brush with the excess and just gently pull at the edges to kind of soften them. So you get a little bit of like a transition. You can take a little bit more too if you don't have enough on your brush. So as I said, definitely messier, but man, the result is just like next level. You can't beat it. So next I'm gonna go ahead and clean up underneath my eyes because we got a lot going on. I'm gonna go ahead and do a winged liner and some mascara, some lashes, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my foundation, concealer, blah, 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 and come back to talk to you about blush. Okay, so for blush, I'm gonna go in with the Hourglass Vanish Blush Stick in the shade Sacred. It's a nice kind of coral shade, so it has enough red in it that I think it's gonna match, and I find it's just a very kind of like rosy, it's just, you'll see when I apply the shade, it's just a shade that I find will go with today's look really well, because it's a little bit of like a darker, it's not super bright, it's not super like peach or warm, and it's kind of like a neutral coral. So I think it's gonna be just enough. I don't want like red all over my face. So I think it's gonna be the perfect shade for today's look. And also I just really love this formula. It's super long wearing. It blends into the makeup stunningly, and it's super pigmented yet blendable, buildable. It's actually one of my absolute favorite cream blushes. Just blend out those edges and also kind of blend out that concealer. Make sure there's no creases, as we're then going to go ahead and set everything down. I'm gonna use my Coty Airspun to do a little bit of a bake. Okay, so while that bake is sitting, I'm gonna go ahead and do lips. So for lips, I'm gonna go in with a traditional red lip, and I'm going to be using my Milani Color Statement Lip Liner in 02 True Red. This still is my favorite red lip liner, as it's just, I love the Milani lip liners. They're super creamy, long wearing, and this is just such a beautiful, beautiful true red. And now I'm gonna go in with my Too Faced Melted Matte in the shade Lady Balls. There's nothing better than a red lip. I'm not a huge red lip fan, like I don't wear it all the time, but when I do, I'm always like, why don't I do this more often? So let's go ahead and dust this bake off. So now we need to just quickly do lower lash line. And I'm actually going to go in with a green lower lash line, and I want it to be super, super simple. So either what you could do is similar as the top and kind of just keep it as a red lower lash line. You could do red with the gold in the middle of the bottom. But for a little bit of fun, I wanted to bring out my MAC Holiday Hocus Shadeshifter Duochrome. It's a nice, beautiful green duochrome, and it's just gonna bring a little more pizzazz to the look. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick some of that on this flat brush here and wet it as well. And I'm gonna pull it all the way across. All right, now let's pop some mascara on the lower lash line. And last but not least, let's add some highlight. I'm gonna go in with my Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Skin Highlighter in Lunar Nude. I'm going to take some of this highlight, pop it on the brow bone and in the inner corner. All right, and that is the finished holiday look. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this video helpful. I hope you guys are having a wonderful December. Don't forget, I do have a Christmas giveaway going on right now, so I'll list all the information down in the description box below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell if you'd like to be notified of my upcoming videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.